I wasn't searching for treasure. I was simply hiking through an old forest when I noticed a strange map hidden beneath a mossy stone. The paper looked impossibly old, yet one mark on it seemed freshly drawn. There were no road names, no compass, and no signature. Only one place was circled in dark ink, a town without a name. For some reason, I couldn't stop staring at it. The map pointed toward a trail that wasn't marked on any sign. Every step felt wrong, yet something kept pulling me deeper into the woods as daylight quietly disappeared. Then I found a wooden sign. It should have pointed somewhere, but it was completely blank, as if every word had been erased by time itself. My compass suddenly lost its direction. The needle spun faster and faster, refusing to settle. I realized this wasn't an ordinary place anymore. Minutes later, rooftops appeared beyond the trees. An entire town stood silently ahead, yet it wasn't marked on any map except the one I carried. The streets were empty, but the lamps were glowing. There were no power lines, no cars, and no voices. Somehow, the town felt as if it had been waiting for me. Every window was covered except one. A faint light glowed behind the curtain, and for a split second, I thought someone moved inside. Then something impossible happened. Fresh footprints appeared in the dust right in front of me, but there was no one there to make them. Before I could turn around, the old church doors opened by themselves. Something inside was waiting, and I knew walking away was no longer an option. The church looked abandoned for decades, yet the air inside felt strangely warm. Every step echoed through the empty hall, as if someone was quietly walking just behind me. On the altar rested a dusty journal. No one touched it, yet its pages slowly turned by themselves until they stopped on a single handwritten entry. The final entry read, "The town appears for only one night. Those who enter before midnight may never leave before sunrise." I looked up and froze. The church clock showed only 13 minutes until midnight. Suddenly, every second felt heavier than the last. The portraits covered the walls, each showing people who had vanished long ago. Then I saw one that looked exactly like me. The date beneath the portrait was impossible. It had been painted more than 100 years before I was born. A faint light escaped from beneath a small wooden door at the end of the hallway. Something on the other side wanted to be found. Behind the door was a narrow staircase disappearing into the darkness below. Every instinct told me to run, but curiosity pulled me forward. The underground chamber was covered with maps. Hundreds of them. Each one marked a different town that no longer existed. Then a fresh red mark appeared on the map by itself. It wasn't pointing toward the town anymore. It was pointing directly at me. The glowing mark pulsed like a heartbeat. Every second it grew brighter, and for the first time, I felt as though the map wasn't showing my location. It was watching me. The walls were covered with thousands of names. Some had dates beside them. Others ended with a single word. Missing. Then the stone began to move. Tiny cracks formed before fresh letters appeared. They spelled my name, one letter at a time. I wasn't alone anymore. Someone or something was standing in the darkness, completely still, as if it had been waiting for me all along. The figure never spoke. It simply raised one hand and pointed toward another tunnel hidden behind the maps. The tunnel stretched farther than it should have. Every step echoed for several seconds, as though the darkness itself was listening. The tunnel opened into a room filled with hundreds of clocks. None of them showed the same time, except one. As the only moving clock reached midnight, a deep bell echoed beneath the town. Every frozen clock suddenly turned to face me. The ground shook beneath my feet. The tunnel behind me began collapsing, leaving only one narrow path leading back toward the town. When I stepped outside, the empty streets were no longer empty. Hundreds of silent figures stood waiting, all staring directly at me without making a single sound. Every face looked exactly the same. They weren't twins or masks. It was as if one person had been copied over and over again across the entire town. One of them smiled. It wasn't friendly. It looked like someone trying to remember how humans were supposed to smile. The map changed again. New streets appeared that hadn't existed before, leading toward a place marked only with a black circle. The black circle matched the old well standing in the middle of the town. Somehow I knew that was where the map wanted me to go. I dropped a small stone into the well. Seconds passed, then a full minute. I never heard it reach the bottom. Then a pale hand appeared, slowly gripping the edge of the well. Whatever was climbing out moved with impossible patience. The figure held a map exactly like mine. Its edges were torn in the very same places, as though it had always belonged to both of us. When the hood fell away, I stopped breathing. The face staring back at me wasn't a stranger. It was mine, only decades older. He never spoke a single word. He simply pointed toward the forest, warning me that sunrise was coming far too quickly. I ran as fast as I could. Behind me, the town slowly dissolved into the morning fog, but something told me it wasn't disappearing. It was simply waiting for night to return. I was certain I had left the map inside that impossible town. Yet when I arrived home, it was lying on my table, exactly where I couldn't have placed it. A new destination appeared by itself. This time the map wasn't pointing to the past. It was pointing towards somewhere that didn't even exist yesterday. I searched every map I could find. Satellite images, old records, forgotten archives. The place simply didn't exist anywhere except on that ancient paper. Inside the journal, I found one final photograph. Standing in the middle of the town was the same older version of me, holding the very same map. That night, I looked into my bedroom mirror. For one terrifying second, my reflection didn't move when I did. I tried to destroy the map. The paper burned, but the red markings refused to disappear, glowing brighter inside the flames. Just before midnight, an envelope slid beneath my front door. No footsteps, no knock, only silence waiting on the other side. Inside was a single note. It didn't threaten me. It simply welcomed me back, as if I had always belonged to that forgotten town. I looked outside, and the city was gone. In its place stood the same silent streets, waiting beneath the moonlight as though I had never escaped. Some maps aren't meant to guide travelers. They choose them. And if you ever find an unmarked map lying where it shouldn't be, never follow it after sunset.